Okay, everybody simmer down. The only reason that I am doing a video reply to this comment is to talk about messaging and the messaging of the left and Democrats. Defund the police was supported by maybe 5 members of Congress, if that. But, and this is the messaging part, defund the police fits on a bumper sticker. And even though it was not endorsed by more than 5% of elected Democrats in 2020, every single elected Democrat got tarred with that phrase, with that slogan. Defund the police. It's a great slogan. And I mean that, regardless of how you feel about that issue. And I agree with the concept of defunding the police. The New York City Police Department is the most bloated, overly funded. The New York City Police Department receives more funding than most countries' militaries do. And it took them a week to track down Luigi Mangione, who, from what I can tell, was basically trying to get caught. And he absolutely beclowned the New York City Police Department. Apart from the fact that cops in this country, more so than in most Western civilized nations, how to phrase this, certainly have a proclivity to killing people who are unarmed. Very often, black people or people of color. But voters in the middle, voters who don't pay a tremendous amount of attention to politics, and certainly voters on the right, when they hear that slogan, defund the police, and it is inextricably associated to or with elected Democrats, that's the ballgame. Republicans are better at messaging than Democrats are. Next one, bail reform. So let's talk about bail reform for a minute. I believe our bail system in this country needs to be reformed, because if you get arrested and you have money, you can post bail. If you get arrested and you don't have money, you can't post bail. If you can post bail, you get to leave jail pending your trial. If you don't have money and you can't post bail, you have to stay in jail until your trial happens. Is that fair? Should the determining factor as to whether or not you remain in jail until your trial happens, should that be determined by your economic status? I don't think it should be. But again, messaging. Oh, and now here we go. Here's the biggie. Sex change operations on children. Those do not happen in the United States of America. There is no physician or surgeon in the United States of America who would ever, in a million years, ethically perform a voluntary sex change operation on someone who is under the age of 18 years old. That is Republican messaging. In this past campaign, I remember I was watching a fucking football game. My brother was here. We were watching a college football game last fall, the first time that, and we're in California. We were watching a college football game, and Donald Trump's anti-trans campaign ad came on. And it was talking about how Kamala Harris supports public money, taxpayer dollars, being used to pay for gender reassignment surgeries for undocumented immigrants who are in prison. And that ad contained video of her and her words saying that she would follow the law on that. I remember seeing that ad, and the first time that I saw that ad, I remember thinking about the people that I grew up with in rural Ohio and thinking this ad will work on those people. And this ad is going to be effective. And this ad is probably going to win Donald Trump re-election. And the reason that I added that last part, that this ad will probably win Donald Trump re-election, is that Kamala Harris never responded to that ad. She could have refuted that in 5 minutes. Very easily. But the language police and the identity politics police, people on the left, if she would have done that, would have lost their fucking mud. They would have joined leagues with the people who campaigned against Kamala Harris and endorsed and voted for Donald Trump because they didn't like Kamala Harris's position on Israeli war on Palestinian civilians in the Gaza Strip. When they also understood that Donald Trump would give Bibi Netanyahu every goddamn thing that he wants to eradicate Palestinians inside the borders of Israel. Messaging. Make the argument. Make the argument and win people over. If the argument coming from the right is bullshit, like sex change operations on people, go out and prove your fucking case. Respond to that ad. Do it forcefully and do it in a way that convinces people. Kamala Harris didn't respond to that ad at all. Not one bit. Not one bit. What do you do with that? Politics is a game of it is a game of addition. Okay? You have to add people. How do you add people to your base? You go out and you make the argument and you convince them. How do you convince them? By responding to the bullshit coming from the right. Didn't happen. Didn't happen. Super easy argument to win. The left wouldn't let her do it. And here we are. Buckle up.